like how I look at fanboyism as being, and we'll use this movie as a perfect example, is that it's someone that looks at a product and loves it no matter how bad it is, but like unrealistically loves it.
Yeah.
Like and they will fight tooth and nail. Like, this is a great movie, knowing that it's full on dog shit. And
Mike,
that's how I've always looked at it.
Mike, there's a really great quote that me and Nick and Chris have heard for years and years, and it's, "Nobody ever went broke underestimating the taste of the American public."
It's fucking facts, dude.
Well,
right? But
I mean, that's what it is, man.
Look, the thing about Batman versus Superman, and I feel like we can talk about this until we're like blue in the face.
We can,
because it just seems to be the hot button for everybody. At the end of the day, and no matter how you feel about the movie, the first time you're finally getting the two biggest icons in the medium of comic books on screen together is 2 hours of them fighting one another is just.
And there's no investment.
But they fought for 7 minutes. It was a 7-minute fight, and it was 2 hours to get there. And
that's a problem.
Yeah, and I have like this super duper deluxe edition shit. And
Why?
It's 31 minutes. Oh, because it came with the comic book of every battle they've ever had type shit, and I have to have it. I gotta have it. But other than that, it's 31 extra minutes of a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, I've seen scenes from the director's cut, and like it makes the film like a bit more comprehensible, but it's overall
more questions. It was more questions, and more Jesse Eisenberg, which I don't need, and
that was just a horrible interpretation of him. I mean,
this is going to become like the hate fest. But going back,
I know you asked us to be here.
Yeah, I did. I knew exactly
you knew what you were doing.
I knew exactly.
You knew what this was, Mike.
Yeah, but
I knew what this was.
And it's funny because like those guys they'll shit on a MCU movie or the entire MCU as a whole as being.
Do they not like good things?
No, so I have one resident at my job. We had he's a comic book lover, but he's more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan, right? Period. And so he's not a big. So he's realistic though. Like when we talked about Justice League, like we both saw it at the same time, and I remember going to work and seeing him, and I couldn't even ask him the question. He was like, "Did you see that fucking Abomination?" First thing out of his mouth. And then I was like, "But you like BVS?" He's like, "No, that movie sucked too." Like, so he's realistic, but he loves Wonder Woman. He thinks it's not gonna. To him,
Wonder Woman was great.
It was a good
it's
movie.
not going to get better than that.
It was a really good movie.
Like to me, Aquaman was trash.
Momoa Man.
Oh my God, Mimosa. So, I can't take him. Like I don't need Dude Bro Aquaman in my movies.
Okay.
I gotta ask? Like, what did you guys think of Cyborg in?
Okay.
As the resident Titans fan,
go for it.
As the resident Titans fan here, he's set dressing.
Yeah, they literally make him a plot device.
Cyborg exists in that movie to be a plot device, and that's unfortunate because Cyborg is one of the most complex and interesting characters in the history of DC Comics, and making him a member of the Justice League and the New 52 just to put him in this movie was a disservice to the character. It's a disservice to the Titans. It's just it doesn't feel right, and it's not a matter of like if the thing that they were going for was like, yeah, we need a person of color on the fucking Justice League. Maybe even someone younger, someone the kids can identify with. And I said this yesterday.
Somebody.
It's almost as if there's some other young black superhero that DC is under their license. Oh wait, how about fucking Static, you dumb fucks?
Which they just want to act like does not exist, like outside of a cartoon.
Well, okay, let's say the Static
but they're
licensing
still
is too
there.
difficult to manage. You can't do Static. Who's your next option if you can't use Static?
Yes. I mean, gosh, let me think. Black Lightning, Vixen, Jon Stewart.
Firestorm.
Yeah.
The original young
the current guy.
Young dorky kid on the team.
Jason Rush.
Jason Rush, that's what I mean.
Jason Rush, that's it.
Look,
it's not hard.
it's the problem with live action DC as a whole is they're spending too much time playing catch up and trying to be edgy cool instead of figuring out the things that make these characters work long term. We've talked about this a million times. I turn on a live action Titans show, and it's not even the whole Dick Grayson saying fuck Batman. It's hearing Donna Troy say fuck. It's the weirdest thing in the world, and it's just weird.
I watched the first couple episodes of that show. It was fun.
I've not watched it yet.
It's trash. Hot garbage.
I can't. Everything I've heard about it, I can't. I just can't. I'm just getting angry. I barely.
Dick Grayson's a detective, which means he's probably about 28 or whatever, right? Why is he still Robin?
Well, they made him Nightwing last season.
Fine. Two seasons it took.
It's just saying. And the Nightwing costume does look good, actually.
You sound like a fanboy, dude. Like, my God, man.
No, man.
My God, guy.
Yeah, the shame the show is trash.
Chris, and I told you, my friend Lindsay helped design the Robin and the Nightwing costume.
This is so good.
And I was so excited on the first photos of the show.
Looked great.
The casting was a slam dunk. Everybody looked cool. And so I watched the first couple episodes, and my friend Lindsay, knowing I'm such a big Robin fan, such a big Nightwing fan, and she was like, "So what'd you think?" And I was like, "Friend answer or honest answer?" She goes, I want both. And I was like, "Okay." I said, "The honest answer is the friend answer, and it's the Robin costume turned out amazing, and I'm so happy for you and so proud of you." And she was like, "The rest?" I was like, "You didn't write the show, right?" She goes, "No." And I was like, "Good, the costumes are awesome."
I don't know. I had fun with the first couple episodes. I wanted to see
TJ's
more
not
where it was
diplomatic.
going.
He said, "Good, the costumes were awesome."
And look, I mean it. The Hawk and Dove costume looks great. The
They look
casting
great.
on them is perfect.
Yeah.
The casting on Dick Grayson's perfect. Starfire is perfect.
Yeah.
Beast Boy is perfect. Raven is perfect. The casting on that show is a slam dunk. It's just when every other sentence someone is saying fuck, it's like, at what point did the 12-year-old kid who just discovered this word to write a show because I want to work with him?
It's like, oh, she said, "Fuck." That's it. We got the ratings
Now
going.
it means it's dark and gritty and adult.
Yeah, now
exactly.
it's edgy.
It's
so edgy.
Oh,
Yeah, it's that fucking confusion of edgy and versus complex. They are not fucking one and the
Not
same.
the same thing.
It's
and I want to like it. Superboy's on the show. Crypto is on the show. I want to love
Crypto
this.
is on the show. Now I'm going to finish it.
Yeah.
Nightwing is in the black and blue. Deathstroke is on it. And it's freaking S.M. Morales as Deathstroke.
The costume looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to
that.
love this show. You guys need to understand. This isn't me like unreasonable fanboy. Because there are so many things on this show that check my boxes. And look, if you're going to have any character drop in the F-bomb, Jason Todd's on the show.
Yep.
There's literally a scene where Jason Todd, full Robin costume, runs in front of a news camera, looks in the camera, and screams, "Titans are back, bitches!" And it's like, Jason. That is Jason right there.
Yeah, it's perfect. That's perfect.
And I cannot wait to see him die so I can get Tim Drake and see how they mess that up.
No, don't worry. Let's skip right to Damien.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say, too. Like, don't worry.
I love to skip to Damien, exactly.
That's it.
We'll go right to
That's
Damien.
it. Tim will be just like set dressing. He'll be in the back. He'll work at a bakery or some shit.
Tim
Drake?
Tim Drake? Who's that?
He'll be a government official named Drake.
Oh, God.
That's all. That's all.
Or
they'll just be a cop named Robin, and we'll just
Stop it.
I hate that. I so hate. That's the other thing with the Nolan Ryan Batman.
Nolan Ryan?
Whatever. I mean,
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
That's
how pissed off I am. Dude, when he said...
All right, we'll fix it in post.
All right.
We're going live.
We're going live.
He filmed it in Texas.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because when he said that was his name, I was like, so Robin is his real name. So now he just totally change something from the comics and bringing it to
them. The worst was when that movie came out, and I remember being at St. Mark's and everybody laughing, because I don't know if Nick and Chris and them got everybody to be like, dude, what'd you think about Robin being in the movie? And just like everybody what'd you think about Robin? Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he's Robin. It's like, no, he's a cop.
So
the random ass cop. He is not Robin.
I mean, okay. Well, are we gonna do this? Are we gonna do the Christopher Nolan conversation?
Oh my God!
Let's do it. Like we're here.
God damn it!
So let's go. So I mean, let me say something.
I need a drink. Give me one.
I'm going to say something first
ahead,
because I remember TJ and I had this conversation one day. I think somebody had come in the shop and was like that this trilogy was the best thing ever type shit, and we talked. And you were like, Batman hasn't done the one thing that he's done in the comic books in film, and that's fucking detecting.
I've been saying this for years.
And it's the truth. Like, he's had a couple of moments with technology, but you don't call him the world's greatest detective and not have him doing that. You don't have Ra's al Ghul in a movie with him and not call him detective. And show him and respect who he is. And
Mike,
do
you know who did all the detective work in the Nolan movies? Because it wasn't Batman, it was Alfred and Lucius Fox. Mm-hmm. Why are the old dudes doing Batman's detective work and he's saying he's the world's greatest detective?
That's it.
Batman, why are you co-opting this shit? Mm-hmm. Not okay.
He's delegating. He's just delegating.
Yeah, because he just takes shit. Well, we're going to use this for what the fuck I want to use it for.
Nick, if he wants to delegate properly, get a Robin, not a cop.
Get a real Robin.
Real Robin.
Yes. Not even a sidekick, a fucking bird. Get the actual bird.
Screw it.
And just fucking Chris, I gotta hand it off to you, dude, because you gotta do it. Do it.
Okay. So, all right. This is where the problem started. This is where your Snyderverse, the infancy of what's wrong with the Snyderverse started.
Okay.
It starts in the Nolan movies. And I liked Batman Begins a lot. Mm-hmm, I remember hearing that Christian Bale was going to be cast to play Batman in the movie. I'm like, fuck, that's actually about as perfect as I could imagine a Batman casting. And I don't have any problem with Bale's performance, and I actually quite enjoyed Batman Begins. Yeah, the voice was terrible.
The second, I think, the second and third, his voice is fucking horrific.
The second
I can deal with it.
The second, third.
Yeah, I can deal with it in the first.
So I'll be honest. I felt my problem with those Batman movies. It's not the fact that they try to do and I'm going to use quotations on a realistic Batman, because there's nothing realistic about Batman at the end of the day. And I'm sick of that terminology being thrown around towards Batman. On top of the fact that it felt like they were apologizing for how lame Batman was. They were somehow ashamed of making.
Look, we know this. On those silly comics.
We blame Joe
We're gonna forget about all of that.
Yeah.
And that was, while it did do a lot of the good stuff. Like, there's a lot of Long Halloween and Dark Knight. There's a lot of, and that's that's my favorite Batman story.
Exactly. Same
there's some good stuff in there that they pull from that. And there's a lot of Year One and Batman Begins. But overall, it felt like they were trying to apologize for being a superhero movie. And that carried over into the production of Man of Steel. Man of Steel to me is not a good Superman movie at all. Not even a little. And I feel bad for Henry Cavill, because I think the dude is super charming. He fucking looks it. He loves being Superman, and you can see it on his fucking face.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't love being Superman?
Just let him be Superman.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, you kind of got a little bit of Superman in Justice League, what you wanted him to be in the films. And I say a little bit, and it's a little bit. It's like it's like a fucking shot of vodka. Mm-hmm. You got a good amount of when he was there, when he came back, and there was that ending sequence, that's the most Superman you've been in these movies.
And it's I wish he had more stuff like that to work with in the first place, because Man of Steel allegedly ends on a positive note, but it doesn't.
No, not at all.
Zod's neck, and man, my stomach sank when I watched that.
Yeah, if that's how you're writing your Superman movie so that he has to kill the bad guy, you've written your movie wrong.
You've written your movie
Sorry.
wrong. And
he would not have done that at all.
You can't justify that to me. I'm sorry.
No.
If you don't you need to put somebody else in charge of these movies. Like, I understand.
Superman.
Like,
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Tej. It's just one of those things.
Superman.
It's bad. Sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
No, not at all. We didn't know what we were doing there. I'm sorry.
That's all. It happens, man.
Right? Superman killing Zod and Batman basically like murking dudes in that warehouse. Like that to me, okay, well that's not Superman and that's not Batman. I guess I'll wait for the next guy to come along.
Yeah.
But shifting to the Nolan stuff real fast, and I know this is going to create a much larger debate and question, so I'm going to narrow the scope on this really tightly here with what I'm about to say. Okay? So Dark Knight, didn't care for it. Not my cup of tea. I'm not going to shit on what people like. If they like it, that's great.
Do you think it was a good? Do you think it was a good movie? Period. Forget about being a Batman movie. Do you think it was a good movie at all?
That's an interesting question. If I don't think it's a good Batman movie, then it's not a good movie because it is a Batman movie.
Okay.
It doesn't get to be one or the other. If it's not a good Batman movie, then it's not a good movie. But that's subjective.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's subjective. That's me. That doesn't mean that if someone likes it, I can't be like, oh, well, you're fucking wrong. The only The only thing that I am going to be completely objective about when it comes to that movie, and no matter how you feel about the performance, the casting, or whatever, because almost everybody I know loves Heath Ledger's Joker, and I understand why they like it.
Yeah,
you understand why they're wrong.
Well, that's where I'm gonna go.
There we go.
No matter how you feel,
my God, this is gonna be great.
He doesn't commit one single funny crime. Therefore, he's not the Joker.
Yeah, they focus too much on the chaos. It's
not a single crime in that movie is funny. Why is he the Joker? Just because he wears clown makeup?
I'm not gonna lie. When the pencil trick was hilarious.
It's hilarious. But it's not
that shit was hilarious to me. Like that was great.
Right. And I'm glad that you said that because everybody says, "Oh, the pencil trick, that's hilarious," and it's like, yes, but that is not a crime that gets Batman's attention. That is in the moment with all the mob bosses.
True, it gets their attention.
Not a single crime that he commits to get Batman's attention is funny. And the perfect examples that I use of how you can make the Joker funny with like something goofy and something dark. Batman the Animated Series, Christmas with the Joker. You've got the episode, he's got Jim Gordon and Bullock and Summer Gleason. They're all held hostage, and Batman and Robin have to stop all these things from happening. They have to stop a train being blown off a bridge. They have to stop a hostage, all this stuff. So when they finally get there and fight off the Joker's goons, it's also that the Joker can give Batman a Christmas present, and it's a pie to the face. Structural damage, life lost, hostages, cops out there, taxpayers going to have to pay all this off just so he can pie Batman in the face. It's brilliant. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely brilliant.
You could literally lift that plot, and it could have been the plot of Dark Knight. And it would have almost been the exact same thing.
Exactly. And then on the other side...
I don't like Dark Knight, and I don't know that I'm comfortable with that.
Me neither. I'm looking at it like...
I appreciate what you're saying in the general sense of there needs to be some sort of either jokey or ironic twist to these crimes.
Let me finish then, because this side can maybe work for what you guys are going for. Now, if you're going to do something funny as well, it's not just, okay, the Joker does something funny, ha ha ha. There has to be times where the Joker does something funny and you feel like shit for laughing. And the final story arc in No Man's Land, where the Joker and Harley Quinn have kidnapped all of the babies in Gotham City's hospital, and you've got the GCPD, Batman, Robin, Nightwing, the new Batgirl, Huntress, everybody out there trying to find these babies. Jim Gordon's wife, who's the lieutenant in the GCPD, Sarah Esten Gordon, she finds the Joker first. He's got all the babies. Some creepy dialogue between Joker and her. She tries to catch one of the babies that he throws at her. She catches it. He shoots her in the head. Does not say anything. Walks out quietly. Everybody sees it. Walks out. He says, "I surrender." Jim Gordon realizes what happens. He starts crying, and he shoots the Joker in the knee, and he's screaming, "Oh my God, he shot me!" Batman tells Jim, "Don't do it." Jim Gordon's like, "Look at everything he's done, everything he's taken from me, and now he just killed my bride, and you're going to tell me not to kill him?" Batman looks at him, and he says, "I'm not going to stop you." And as he's about to pull the trigger on the Joker and shoot him in the head, he shoots him in the other knee. Joker falls down, and he's screaming, "Oh my God, he shot me in my knees, I'm never going to walk again," and then starts cracking up, and he looks at Gordon, and he goes, "I get it. Now I'm just like your daughter." And it is to this day the most horrid dialogue I've ever seen that character utter. And I've read some pretty dark Joker stories, but it's because he does it to cut at him even more than he already just did. And the joke is messed up. It's cruel. It's at Jim's expense, but it's a Joker moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the point. The Joker can be pie in the face with structural damage, and then the joke is babies growing up in the no man's land, and now I'm going to kill your wife and insult your paralyzed daughter that I did that to. The Joker has to be complex in that way, where it's peaks and valleys with the comedy, but there still has to be something. And again, it's light comedy and dark comedy, but it was missing for me in Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Anything that makes his crimes remotely have comedy, whatever your taste in comedy is. I still think it's the cruelest Joker moment of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely fucking is. Wow. Mm-hmm. I gotta read that shit.
Bro, it sucks your soul out. Like, and I can feel that in you guys. It sucks your soul out, that moment. It's so heartbreaking.
It's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
That's some good storytelling right there.
Yeah, but that's fantastic writing. Like, that is
absolutely. It's Greg Rucka.
It's Rucka, right? Yep.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, I have to ask. I think I already know.
So why they can't do that in the DCEU movies? Why they should incorporate good writing? Yeah.
Part of the problem with why they can't write complex characters in the DCEU is they feel like they have to chase what Marvel Studios has done, and they don't. Marvel Studios has had 10 years of success, and don't forget, there have been failures in their successes. But at least
some would say Iron Man 2 and Thor 2.
Yeah.
Thor, yeah.
They're the weakest films, I think.
Iron Man 2 and 3 was kind of weak.
I was fine with 3 into the twist, really, but...
And you know what? Here's a fun fact for you. Iron Man 2, it may not be the greatest Iron Man movie, but you get Black Widow and you get Marvel team up in Iron Man and War Machine and Black Widow together.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that, to me, is a strength right there.
Well, don't forget, you also get Sam Rockwell chewing the scenery for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Best thing about Iron Man 2, hands down.
Justin Hammer is the best thing about that movie. Yes. Oh my god.
Yes.
And then the downside is Mickey Rourke just playing himself, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, like, and that's exactly like TJ said. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't expect every outing to be perfect. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but there has to be some kind of like something to grasp onto, something relatable, something to bring that character and to that keeps them to what the good things that made them relevant in the first place. Even if you're doing some kind of update, like whatever, it shouldn't actually matter. Like as far as complex characters, we cite Captain America from the MCU all the time because you want to talk about fucking complexity.
Yeah.
If you really want, especially from the lens of the Russo brothers when they took over, there's a really fantastic through line about Cap and Iron Man and their relationship over the course of those films that completely comes to an incredible end, where the point, like, remember when they first clash in Avengers, Tony's got issues because his dad never shut up about him, right? And he's had this idea of this person who his dad never stopped talking about. And his dad obviously not having the best relationship in the world with Tony, which we already know, based on all the previous stuff. And he meets Cap and he kind of has this like chip on his shoulder and dealing with him. And Cap doesn't like Tony because Tony's some fucking rich asshole. Okay? Yeah. And Cap's just some fucking kid from Brooklyn who came from nothing. So like these guys, who and then went to war, it's the Greatest Generation kind of thing. Dude fought in World War II against literal Nazis. Like, dude was fighting like the actual legitimate good fight with no real complications to an understanding. It's like what was going on then was wrong, even though we had to do things we didn't always like. I knew I was doing the right thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you get later on, Cap's worldview has to change as time goes on, right?
Yeah.
And him and Tony, like, Civil War is incredible. Like, because that's where it really starts. That's where they really start to butt heads, obviously.
Better than the comic.
By a long shot. By a goddamn long shot. Because they don't make Tony a fucking supervillain. They make Tony a person.
And they don't make Cap a tactical idiot.
Exactly. Like, Cap...
Yeah, let's bring the fight into Times Square.
Yeah, that's great. It's a brilliant idea. Let's move the fight to Times Square.
Oh my god, don't get me started.
What could possibly happen?
No.
It's so bad. But like at the end of the day, like they go on a journey where even when they're talking shit to each other in the very first Avengers movie, right? Where Cap's like, I know you, Stark. You're not the type to make the sacrifice play. You're not going to jump on a grenade to save the other guy's life. Oh. Hey, what happened in Endgame? All right. And they literally walk in each other's shoes, man. Like they, Tony dies making the ultimate sacrifice play after getting everything he ever wanted.
Yeah.
Because Tony's whole thing was, even in Ultron, as not great as that movie is, like it's kind of like a middle ground of a Marvel movie, Tony talks about like wanting to be able to go home. He's like, I want to be able to make sure this is all done so we get to go home at the end of the day. And he never gets that. He actually makes the perfect sacrifice at the end of Endgame. And it's incredible. It's fucking perfect.
And Chris, don't forget too, Steve looks at Tony throughout that first movie as like, this guy who, there's a bit of an amorality to him sometimes. He wouldn't say he's dishonest, but he certainly doesn't have Steve Rogers' moral code and moral compass.
No.
And what broke the friendship between Steve and Tony?
Captain America
lied
to him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that sets Tony off. Something
Tony never did to Steve.
Yep.
Yeah.
He could, and when you watch that scene, we always joke like the "so was I" line is like the heartbreak. No, the heartbreak is, did you know?
Yeah.
Did you know? Like,
Rogers.
Because Robert Downey Jr. is such a fucking incredible actor, and so is Chris Evans. Like, they both crush it, and their chemistry is absolutely out of control.
Well, look at that. They bring nuance and complexity to their performances as Cap and Iron Man. Something that these guys at DC haven't been able to do.
Yeah. And that's why I'm citing it. And also, on top of the fact that even Steve learns to be a little selfish at the end of the day because he realized he maybe does deserve a life at this point. And he got to go live a life at the end of Endgame. He literally, him and Tony literally
You know what's funny
places.
about that, Chris?
It's brilliant.
What's really funny about that, too, is the whole Steve learns it's okay to be a little selfish. My favorite was everybody coming out of that movie and they were like, no, that was stupid. They shouldn't have Cap do that, this and there. It's like, then you didn't understand why it needed to happen for Cap.
Yeah, it had to happen.
Yeah.
It had to happen.
That was so important that Cap's story ends.
So good. It was so
and for a multitude of reasons. Who isn't excited to see Falcon be Captain America in the new show?
Yeah. Hopefully, in a better context than he became in the first place.
Exactly.
And I wasn't against Sam becoming Cap. And I love Bucky as Cap. But it was done in a manner that was kind of like a little quick and wasn't great.
Well, I kind of had an issue in one sense that the Falcon had come back and come back into everyone's vision, and he was being written actually pretty fucking well. And to put him in the Captain America, like to give him that shield and make him Cap, kind of took away from what that character was as in his own series.
Understandable.
And it's pretty it's trivial.
Yeah,
but still, I felt like you have a great black character here, and when you put him there, you kind of make it seem like he's not going to last on his own. You know what I mean?
And it's
he needs that name.
Exactly.
Well, Mike, it's interesting you put it like that too, because this was a frustrating thing for me for a while. Was the only problem, because first let me say I love Falcon as Cap, and the truth is I like Falcon as Cap better than Bucky as Cap, because Falcon as Cap, there is a sense of futurism, there's a sense of hope, there's a sense of there's a new dawn.
Yeah,
everything about Bucky as Cap is based on penance. Everything he's doing as Cap is because he has to.
Yeah,
it's not because he wants to, it's because he has to. Okay?
Okay.
Now, the only problem that I had with Falcon getting his book as Cap was at that point the Falcon had just been in a movie. It's the highest profile that Sam Wilson has ever had.
Exactly.
Action figures, Halloween costumes, lunchboxes, movies, all of these things. And all people were seeing was, oh, he's
Captain
the
America
Black
book.
Captain America,
Exactly.
not he's the Falcon, and now he's Cap.
Captain
You
America.
could not walk into your local comic shop and pick up the latest issue of The Falcon.
The Falcon.
It was Captain
And that
America.
was the problem, because what Chris brought up earlier about Miles and the importance for a 10, 11-year-old African-American kid who sees Miles and it looks like him, it's also important that they see the adult Black hero who they can grow into.
It's why Bendis created him in the first place, man.
Exactly. And now at the same time, you can say, but look, he gets to grow up into Captain America. And that's true too.
That's awesome. But that's how you refer to him.
The Falcon also had his own agency. And in that moment, having his own identity, that was important in getting that product out there too. You know, I think what Marvel did was the right thing. I think the timing was poor.
Yes, I agree.
The timing could not have been more poor.
I never think of it as a bullet point thing. It's like when DC had the Arab Green Lantern character come in, and it was at a time where, you know, diversity, but it's a bullet point thing, and that's how I kind of looked at it. Like, there's a lot of moments where it's like, oh, look what we're doing. We're doing that too. Oh, we got this. And there's never a point where I felt that was that.
Yeah,
like,
so I mean, the good thing about Green Lanterns is that, like, theoretically, you can go all over the place with that character.
Yeah,
like which is one of the benefits of it, right?
Yeah, but
if doing it in a natural manner is important. Like, perfect example. As you know, TJ's a Kyle Rayner guy, right? TJ, how fucking great was Green Lantern Rebirth?
Green Lantern Rebirth is amazing.
That's how you update an old character who's kind of dated, right? And you add like a nice little spin, and you do it in a way that is not detrimental to the original character. There was nothing disrespectful about how they handled Kyle in that book, you know, and Guy Gardner, and even John. When John's just like shitting on Batman, calling Batman out the way he should have, in a way that I thought was fucking perfect, which was a perfect way to say it, where he was just like, yeah, you know why you never liked Hal? Because he never fucking bought what you were selling. And it's perfect because you got a guy whose power is made entirely out of light versus a guy who works in the shadows. It's just perfect fucking like antithesis in there. And like Green Lantern Rebirth was so fucking good because it took everything that works about these characters and put them in a way that was digestible and was easy to access, like, and it was a perfect jumping on point for you.
And nobody's Green Lantern was taken away.
Yep, exactly.
Nope. Whenever they kept talking about Hal coming back, and Nick, I know you can remember our conversations about this. Chris, I know you can too. The thing for me was always, they're going to kill Kyle. They're going to kill Kyle. Hal's coming back. Kyle's going to die. And not only did they not kill him, but he and Guy had the best buddy book in comics.
See, that's why the 90s, DC pretty much, when it came to the Rebirth, DC Comics were doing its thing, like, especially when they first started, in my opinion, was with the whole Superman and Doomsday, because, I mean, reading some old Superman comics, you really couldn't identify with him because, to me, everything looked like it came too easy for him. Like, he'll bitch slap an enemy here and we'll call it a day. but when they actually did the whole, let's say, Doomsday, like, you saw Superman go through pain, which you feel some kind of sympathy towards, and you'd be like, oh shit, how the hell is Superman going to get out of this mess?
It's understandable.
So they kind of humanized him in a way which is like more relatable and more believable. And now with the whole Batman and the whole Nightfall series, it was kind of good that they kind of shook the whole Batman franchise, because it's like, how can you take down the Batman? So what do? Bane just frees everybody out of Arkham, and so Batman has to take every night, no sleep whatsoever, try to bring back all those criminals back to Arkham. So he's exhausted. So he's basically running on fumes. And then by the time Bane sees that, he's like, okay, now it's my turn. And Batman just had nothing for him and broke his back. And another one was the Green Lantern. I mean, Hal Jordan, I was never a Green Lantern fan, but when I read the Emerald Twilight series, I was like, holy shit. I mean, the best part about that series was when, I guess, the elders, that's what you call them?
The Guardians, yeah.
When when Hal Jordan's ring was ran out of power and he tried to like I guess recharge it, and the Guardians were like, hold on, you just used your powers for selfish reasons. And then Hal Jordan flipped when he said that I used my powers to help strangers every day, but when I use it for myself, it's a wrong thing. So he's like, fuck you now. I'm taking all the fucking energy in the world.
One of the best.
You know, and that was good writing. And that's like when it became the Parallax. I was like, holy shit.
The thing is, like, what I remember hearing a lot of people who never really got into DC, who were bigger Marvel fans, was always, the one thing was, it was always these guys, like their top five were always like gods to them. Yeah. And then when they would read a Marvel series, it felt more relatable to them.
Now finish up. I'm sorry.
Oh no, so like you look at a character like Superman, and if you didn't know, like, I mean, TJ, you're the one that turned me on to Superman in a manner where I could understand and relate. But not knowing that, like, you know, you look at him as a godlike character. Batman, you look at it like as a godlike character.
The Bat God.
Yeah, and then you turn to like Spider-Man, and it's like, dude, like he's
Zeranar?
And you look at Spider-Man, it's like, oh, he could be like me. You look at what the X-Men were, and even though, you know, they're mutants and it's crazy, but the origins of the X-Men felt relatable.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that was the one big thing, the one big concept I've ever heard, or was like, oh, that they're godlike. So I can't get into them because, like, there's nothing about Superman that makes him feel like it's me and I can love him.
Well, let me throw this one out to you. There's two points to that. Superman issue 84, okay? It's a Toyman issue, and Toyman, when done right, is a really creepy villain because Toyman has no superpowers, right? But at this point, they had turned Toyman from like a bank robber with like toy-themed weapons to he's a kidnapper and a child killer. And there's an issue, and this is right after Clark comes back from the dead. Clark is back, Superman's back. Lois and Clark get married, and they decide they're going to take a vacation. Let's go to Hawaii. Everybody else can handle everything in Metropolis. You know, we deserve to have a honeymoon. And Toyman, Cat Grant, who is one of Clark's co-workers at the Daily Planet, she's having a Superman-themed birthday, and her son Adam is dressed as Superboy, leather jacket and all, and it's great. And Toyman ends up kidnapping him, and the issue ends. He killed her son. It got dark, and Superman is not there. Lois and Clark are on their honeymoon. They're on a vacation together, and it's one of those things where, how do you tell Superman stories where Superman feels human? You have to do things like, there's a great line for Superman, and it's someone had asked Superman, what do you fear when you're a guy who can catch bullets? And Superman's reply is, the only thing I fear are the bullets I don't catch.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is the perfect way to frame how human that character is. Superman is super, but more importantly, he's still just a man. Powers far beyond those of a mortal man, but he is still just a guy, and he's gonna make mistakes even with all those powers.
Exactly.
He's not perfect.
Exactly. And now talking about not perfect, let's go to the Bat God there.
Before you even go, let me add on by saying the secret origins panel, when after he saves Lois and they start throwing shit at him and he flies back home, and the next panel is him in Mama Kent's arms and crying, and you see the little kid and this big man with all these powers. It's the same situation you would see if you went through something and went home. And that was Exactly, and that was like the moment I was like, "Fuck yes!" Like I get it now. Like I really get it.
If you take away that element from Superman, that's what makes him boring.
Right. Absolutely. You have to do the human stories when you do Superman.
Yeah.
If it's all smash this and break that and break the bad guy's neck, then you've missed the point.
Yeah. So you're gonna say about Batman?
Well, first I'll say to echo Nick, Legends of the DC Universe issue 6. There's a great Dick Grayson quote. It's a story about the first time Superman teams up with Dick Grayson as Robin.
This is the book, Al.
Okay, you told me. Okay.
Okay.
What was this? What was it again? That book?
Legends of the DC Universe issue 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a line, and I won't ruin anything if you haven't read it yet. Then I'm excited that you're going to read this. But there's a great line from Dick in there, and he's thinking about things Batman has told him and how Batman's like, you can't trust him. He's not one of us. This is early on in their careers, obviously. And there's a point where Dick says, Batman's right about a lot of things, but not about him. Superman's the most human guy I've ever met. And I've always liked that line, because if you're going to look at Superman, don't look at him through the eyes of a guy like Batman. Look at him through the eyes of someone like Robin. Every kid's going to look at Superman and be like, wow, Superman. Like, the one thing that Justice League movie really got right about Superman, outside of that CGI non-mustache there, is Superman taking the time to talk to those kids for their YouTube channel, because Superman would do that.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
If Superman were real and my nephew had a YouTube channel and he said, Superman, can you talk to me for my YouTube channel? He'd say, of course, Adam, let's talk. So, because that's Superman. But the Batman thing, everybody, and this is what's weird about comics. Everybody calls Superman the big blue Boy Scout, right? Yeah. But a Boy Scout has a troop, and they're always prepared. And there's a Scoutmaster. That's literally the Bat family. It's literally the Bat family.
It's true.
But that being said, everybody wants Batman to be unbeatable, and Batman can beat Superman. But they complain that Superman is unbeatable and no one can beat him. So there's always this weird inconsistency about what people like and dislike about Superman and Batman. It's really, really bizarre. But it always comes down to Tower of Babel. And everybody's takeaway from that story, when Ra's al Ghul uses Batman's plans against the Justice League and defeats everybody, everybody's takeaway from that story is, dude, Batman's badass. He can beat anybody. And the takeaway should have been, no, Batman is so paranoid about things happening that he doesn't even trust his friends, and shit rolls downhill, and it affects Robin with Young Justice and Nightwing with the Titans.
It does.
It is not a healthy approach to Batman as a character. And as the years have gone on, Batman has grown more and more paramilitaristic to the point where the character is unattractive.
Wow,
and that's just me. No, he's not. Because Dick Grayson is Batman's greatest success.
Yep. They said in Infinite Crisis.
Oh my God!
They said in Infinite Crisis.
100% Batman's greatest success.
There's a scene in Infinite Crisis. Infinite Crisis is a flawed work, but there is so much good in that book that I really appreciate the commentary that book provides, because that's essentially what that book boils down to. It's an active commentary on like how dark and disturbing the DCEU can be at times versus its cheery, bright past. And if you want to like juxtapose those things, where the characters literally from the Golden Age are criticizing the modern age heroes, right? Some really fucking phenomenal shit in there. One of my favorite fucking scene in that entire goddamn book is when Golden Age Superman, Earth 2 Superman, is talking to Batman. And Batman, at this point, has Bloodhaven has been blown up, so he doesn't even know if Nightwing's alive. The Omacs are running wild, and it's entirely his fault because Brother Ivis hit satellite, and that was, essentially his shit got hacked again. Yeah. Okay.
Batman's backup plans.
Yeah, Batman's backup plans gone horribly wrong.
Horribly wrong.
Yep. And he said the worst thing imaginable to his best friend.
Oh.
That line is
Want to say it, Chris?
Oh, the last time you were interesting is when you were dead?
No, the last time you inspired anybody.
Oh, right, you inspired anybody was
when you were
That's
dead.
right.
And he says that right to Superman. And you're like, ultimate shade. So he's at a point where, like, and him, Wonder Woman, and Superman all walk away from each other, right? So he's at his lowest point, and Golden Age Superman's like, look, I want to bring back this Earth. Look what happens on my Earth. My Earth is so great. It's just like, it's got all the old school, the JSA could still be around. And look, Robin actually outgrows his role as your sidekick, and he's a member of the JSA and all this. And it's like, he's tempting all this to Batman, right? And Batman looks at him and he goes, oh, no, he hasn't actually mentioned Dick Grayson thing then, right? And he's like, what about Dick Grayson? He's like, oh, he's still Robin. Why? And he's like, no, I'm not him. Fuck you, essentially, he says to Superman. And he's like, why? He's like, because he looks at what Dick Grayson has grown into and become, and he knows and acknowledges the fact. He's like, Dick Grayson's the one thing I know I did right, and it's the one thing about this. He is the one person on this earth that gives me hope for the future, because I know I did that right, because he's grown beyond being Robin. He is his own man now, and he has the respect of literally everybody in this universe. And because Batman acknowledges that, it kind of snaps him out of it. And
Batman's greatest success and Superman's namesake.
That's right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And Chris, to echo that too, with the last time, when Batman says to Superman, the last time you inspired anybody, you were dead.
Mm-hmm.
After Superboy dies at the end of that story, what does Robin do?
Changes his colors.
Changes his costume to be Superboy's colors.
Mm-hmm. And they ask him why, and he's like, they were his colors.
They were his.
That's incredible. Yeah, isn't it cool?
Jeez.
Oh, wow,
Don't you miss that shit?
I do.
Why can't we see this shit on film?
Because the people who don't understand these characters aren't making the movies.
Fuck, man. Why the
Mike.
fucking...
Mike, you say, why can't we see that on film? Why can't we see it in the comics?
Jesus.
Or in the games. Why the fuck do I have to get the same story twice? Oh, man. Fuck Arkham Knight. The game's a piece of shit. The game's a hot, steaming pile of dick, man.
Actually, I don't hate Arkham Knight, actually.
Oh, listen.
I look, bro, we'll
I'll
go,
be
son.
the guy.
I ain't scared of you, son. Let's go.
I will go the fuck there. And it's only... Listen...
Let's get it on.
Oh my god, fuck that game hard. Listen, the Batmobile, hot balls. Like a steaming pile of hot balls.
Oh, it's the worst part of the game. I won't argue that part.
Story-wise, like, you're not going to give me a story and tell me, oh, we have a brand new character who's original as fuck, and it's the same fucking dude with a fuck...
Dude, no. The Arkham Knight shit cracked me up because, like, you listen to him talk for 5 seconds, and you're like, oh, look, it's Jason Todd.
Dude,
because
10 minutes in.
You know it's Jason Todd.
Yeah, I remember sitting there, and I looked at my friend, and I was like, if this is Jason Todd, I'm fucking throwing his controller. And I fucking threw the controller. The moment he said something,
and they lied.
The fuck out of that controller.
They lied.
It was Jeff Johns, wasn't it? I think it was Jeff Johns.
It wasn't Johns. No, it wasn't Johns. It was...
Who the fuck said that shit, that it was like some brand new story?
It was one of the people. Yeah, it was one of the people. It was one of the developers of Rocksteady, right? And like they were just like, yeah, we want to tell a brand new story, and like it is theoretically a brand new story. It's just it's the Red Hood done in a different way. But like,
it's not brand new.
I mean, because he eventually gets rid of the Arkham Knight thing and puts the Red Hood shield on.
Yes! Chris, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in that game, why does Robin look like Eminem?
Listen.
All right, Tim.
What is wrong with hair tech that Nightwing's comb over is fucking killing me the whole time?
Dude, Nightwing looks great.
His costume looks fantastic. His comb over is horrific.
No, he's got this.
No. Nightwing's comb over isn't any worse than Tim Drake basically being bald in that game. So
listen, I get
take a number.
I get a number. Oh, listen, I got 2 lines. I'll be on 2 lines. Fuck it, we put somebody on that line too. It doesn't matter.
They had a deadline to meet. That's what happened.
That fucking game.
Well, one line is cold cuts, one line is cheese.
That's it, right? That's all. Like, fuck it. The game, look-wise, fantastic. It did some cool things. Like Arkham City is my favorite of that whole series.
Okay.
And
me as well.
You know, it did some great things. Don't get me wrong. It story-wise, it turned me off because we've seen it already, or we've read it, and we've seen it probably animated 400 times, or like we've been there already.
Right back.
And to sit here and say that, oh, you're going to get something new, when I was really pushing for something new. That was one of my most anticipated games that year.
You know what's funny about You know, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, finish up.
But,
I don't want to.
But no. But and that's what it was. I'm like, you hyped me up for that fucking letdown, and then there were other things I felt that just didn't work out for me.
So it's funny because, like, okay, I'll be honest. I was disappointed by that game, initially, right? Mm-hmm. And I've actually revisited my reasons for like why I was disappointed by it. I realized that game, in all honesty, had a hype that would have been impossible to live up to. Like, they made a bad gameplay choice, and I'm not going to defend the gameplay choice of the Batmobile kind of being like overly present in that game, especially when the gliding was done better in that game than it was even the previous 3 games, and it was done so goddamn well.
And the driving is so horrible in it, unless you're in fucking tank mode.
Yeah,
like
the tank mode is fine, but like the driving is meh. Don't worry, TJ. He's only blowing up drones. It's okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
good to know.
No, but Arkham Batman doesn't kill anybody. Don't worry.
No. He just maims them. That's about it.
Good. I mean, he just breaks some bones.
Yeah.
So live. Can I ask you guys a question then?
Go for it.
Because, so I understand what we're doing here, and while what we're doing, like the player haters ball, is a lot of fun right now. Because 100%, this is like some Silky Johnson shit.
Yeah.
Hey. I have to ask before we change Buck Nasty's mama's water dish.
Yeah.
What is something that you like, and not just like? What is something that you love? What is something, whether it's comics, outside media? What is something that just makes you go, "This is awesome. This is exactly what I love about this stuff"?